Welcome to Dr. Lottie Science with Soul. I'm Dr. Lottie and the host of this podcast. I'm a physician, medical intuitive, evidential psychic medium, international keynote speaker, and author of Med School After Menopause, The Journey of My Soul, an inspirational story about transformation, healing, and spirituality, which won first place in the category of spiritual leadership in August 2021 from Living Now Book Awards. This award recognizes truly world-changing books that contribute to positive global change. The inspiration for this podcast came from my own life experiences. As I have journeyed through life, it has taught me that we're part of a greater divine web of interconnectedness. I have walked the path of illness, healing, and transformation. After 2 near-death experiences, I became clairvoyant, clairaudient, and clairsentient, and was guided to attend medical school at the age of 54. We will be meeting with many different types of doctors, healers, as well as spiritual leaders, educators, and other inspiring souls in this podcast. It is my hope that you will gain information and create a path to healing your own life physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and bridge the gap between science and soul. If you are a person who understands the interconnectedness of mind, body, and soul, and would like to take one of my courses or work with me to create a path of healing your own life, please visit divinespiritualessence.com or drlottie.com. To stay up to date on future episodes and to help us reach a larger audience, remember to subscribe, review, and share this podcast, as well as subscribing to my newsletter at divinespiritualessence.com. Welcome to Dr. Lottie's Science with Soul. I'm Dr. Lottie, and today I'm really excited to introduce Cheryl Klein-Sleboida. Cheryl Klein-Sleboida is a gold medal award winner in the spirit category with Living Now Book Awards for her book, Just Words and Less, A Kid's Guide to Creating a Kinder World. This book shows us the power behind our word choice and how it affects growing children as it shapes their personality. She hopes her book will have a positive impact on those who read it. Cheryl is a first-time author and was born in Depew, New York, a small suburb of Buffalo. After 25 years in Depew, she moved to Florida, and then 3 years later to North Carolina, where she still resides today. Cheryl loves to spend time with her family and friends, as well as join outdoor activities such as running, hiking, and cycling. And she's passionate about the conservation of Earth and all its inhabitants. So welcome, Cheryl. I'm so excited to have you as a guest today.
Thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to this all day today.
So tell me a bit about yourself and what led you to write this book.
So I have a dear friend, family. They have a son who is 9 years old. He was turning 9, and they're the type of family that they love homemade gifts for Christmas or birthdays or stuff. So I was running one day and I was thinking about Anthony and what a beautiful boy he is. And they're doing a great job, as parents with him. But he struggled in a few things, like some confidence with baseball and stuff like that. So I started in my mind, I was thinking, like one of my thoughts, like about a baseball coach, to thank your coach today because, they volunteer to do that. And it's really kind of a thankless job sometimes. So I started writing all of these down and I showed Anthony's father at work. And I said, what do you think if I make this for Anthony? He loved it. His wife loved it. So I made one. It was delivered to work. I'm walking through with the book and a few people stopped me. He's like, oh, what do you got there? And I'm like, oh, it's just this little book thing that I did for my friend's son's birthday. And they opened it up and the one guy opened it, looked at it, closed it, and he goes, you've got something here. You've got to do something more with this. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, thank you so much. And somebody else stopped me, same thing. And Brian, who stopped me first, 3 weeks, a month later, goes, what did you do? Have you done anything? And I'm like, oh, no, not yet. Then I'm like, you know what? What am I waiting on? Why not, you know, see if this could become something? Then I connected with a local publisher, and we created this great book that I'm so proud of. And I was so excited winning the award. And I guess, I mean, I can't thank, you know, Anthony and the folks I work with that really encouraged me to pursue this, because I never had it, never thought I could do it. And here I am on a podcast.
I love it. What a great story. And you
Yeah.
really had no intention to write a book in the beginning. It was just something, it came about.
Yeah. And then it sort of just kept snowballing. It went from maybe 40 messages jotted down for him that I was going to do like a little coffee table book for him, into probably well over 100 messages in this book. And every time I'd be running, you know, it was one of my great think times is when I'm running or cycling or doing something. And I would get back to the car and maybe jot it down and add it to the book. And yeah, it's been fun.
So, can you give our listeners an example of a message that's in the book? So, when you open the book, there is a message on one side, and
Mhm.
then there is words to read on the right. Am I right?
Well, the message is on the left. And what this is it, here's a couple things. I purposely did not number the pages, because if a child found what he thought or she thought was one of their favorite messages or whatever, I didn't want them to just flip through to page 27. What I wanted them to do is try to find it again and hopefully stumble on something else that the universe put in front of them that day. I know you can understand that, right?
Right.
Put in front of them that day to maybe focus on, or maybe, you know, it to share with friends at school. But so on the left of, here's one, it says, live each day so when you lie down to sleep and run the day through your mind, you fall asleep with a smile. So that's the message for that day. And the right side of the book is a notes page where they can jot down what they thought of the message, how they used it that day, or focus on one message for a week, you know, and work on that for a week and try to really, because it's all about kindness. Everything, every one of these messages is based on kindness and love.
And what's the age group that you wrote this book for? Is it for kindergartners or older children?
Yeah, it's probably older children. They get, some of the messages are very basic, and then some get a little bit heavier, like a young teen. And ideally, I would love this book to be sort of interactive, with either parents to children or school teachers or even friends to sit and kind of, you know, work on them. I could see parents, you know, when they put their children to bed, they're kind of tucking them in and they're talking about the day or whatever. And maybe read one of these messages and discuss it with mom and dad or something, and ask, you know, them how can we bring this into our lives every day and practice it and make it a habit. And then the more people see somebody else being kind, I think it gets noticed, I think, more than we give it credit. But it's doing something about that is the key. You know, you could talk all day about being nice or being kind or, you know, reaching out to people or whatever. You can talk all day about it, but nothing happens unless you do it.
Right.
And that's
Exactly.
exactly what this book is about. And that's a little bit behind the title. They're just words and less, unless you apply them. If you don't do anything, it's just the book of words.
Right. You have to put those words into action.
Absolutely. Yeah. And do them over and over and make it a habit. And it's like a wonderful feeling. It's like a hug from the world when you see somebody's day change or somebody's face light up, or I mean, I'll compliment somebody. I don't care where I am. If I think they have a pretty shirt on, or I like your hair, I'll do it all day long, and I don't want anything from it. I seriously, I walk away and I don't want them to do it back to me. I want them to feel what that compliment did to them. And that's where it hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
It hits that inside soul of the person that you complimented, or you said something kind to, or just the smile, or hold the door or something.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I have that same example in my book, just holding up the door for someone or giving somebody a smile. You have no idea what's going on in other people's heads if they're having a really bad day. And those small acts of kindness makes a big difference. So I
Absolutely.
love how you have taken this and then actually turned it into small components, no, small pieces
Mhm.
of messages that will help a child look at things differently, because it's also teaching them to see things from a different perspective.
Mhm.
That if I do this, I'm being kind, because the world is so filled with hatred and violence and things like that.
Yep.
And these acts of kindness and the messages that you have in your book literally can be life-changing for that child and their friends that are now then interacting with them. And
Yes.
it brings me back to a story that I shared in my own book, how when I went to school and I was in fourth grade, there was one of my friends had those glasses because she had a lazy eye, and the boys would pick on her.
Mhm.
And I stood up for her and I fought the boys. And I said, if you pick on her, I'm going to beat you up. So you're just a young child. But what happened is that her life changed because of my action of
Mhm.
standing up for her. And my mom met her in the grocery store when we were in our 40s then.
Yeah.
And she met my mom and she told my mom, oh my gosh, tell your daughter that she changed my life because of that one
Mhm.
action. And so
Mhm.
I just love how you have taken all these different messages that just came to you and put them in a book, because really it can change somebody's life
It
by
totally
by
can.
reading those messages.
Yeah, and there's nothing in here that I don't think you or me or other people have thought of. But I think human tendency in today's busy world, you tend to brush it off as not important. But as we speak about today's world, this and the contents of this book is what's important, right? Because this can bring calm, and it can bring, like, just kindness, as we keep saying, kindness and love. But really, it's so simple. It's so simple. But I get it. I get busy lives. Focuses is on careers or raising children. But I mean, it even like simple as write a handwritten letter is in this book, instead of and send it in the mail instead of FaceTiming somebody or sending them a text. Bring back some of the simple old-fashioned things and enjoy. Like, I can imagine if my grandparents were around that they would love a handwritten letter, right? Who
Yeah.
wouldn't, kind of?
Yeah, or just a card, or yes,
Yes.
anything. All we get in the mail nowadays is just bills and junk mail. So to get
Yeah.
something in the mail is very special.
Yes. Yes. Yep. I mean, I do it. I've had a friend that sent something to me, just, I don't know, just because kind of little card. And she had a little picture of her and her kids in there and her husband. And like, I called her immediately. I'm like, Jen, this was so nice, and she's like, oh, and Jen's kind of an old soul. Like I think I would definitely say I am. So she gets it,
Yeah.
she knows.
Yeah. So now who would, if you look at like all the different children, all the different age groups of children, it sounds like even younger children would benefit from it. Maybe even, like 6 to 15. I mean, it's a really wide range there, because some of the messages, I mean, even young children understands the importance of being nice or helping, with the groceries or holding up the door.
Yeah, and yes, and part of it is like almost when you go to the earlier age group is like start them young, right? And then there are messages in here that relate to not giving into peer pressure, or when you're confronted with kind of a violent sort of situation, don't give in to that retaliation violence part. Walk away, right? Walk away, do the right thing, do the safe thing, and walk away. So that would apply to the, the later, older children. So yeah, I originally thought like, 8 to 13, but I think 6 to 15 is absolutely
Depending on the child, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, starting young, why not? Right?
Yeah. So just to switch gears a little bit, I know you're very passionate about the earth and conservation of the earth and being outdoors. Now, when you go out running and there are bugs in front of you, what happens?
I know what you're going to say. Yes. So I'll run. My brother, when he comes down, we're a very active, healthy family. So when my brother comes down to visit and we go for a run, especially after it's been raining, I feel like if I stop to do something and it takes away from the timing of the run, I'll make it up. I'll go another half a mile longer, or I'll go faster, or I'll do something. But yes, I'm running and I'll be with my brother or his daughter, my niece who lives close. And I will not step on a bug or a snake or a worm. And I will stop and I will pick up that little wiggly worm when he feels me, and I throw it into the moist part of the grass. I don't throw it, I place it in. I don't throw it. But I don't know. It just, they're so good for the soil. And, bugs, I'll step around them and I'll let them do their thing. And, organic gardening, and I love the bees and I love to hear them. And the other day I was on a greenway here with my friend I wrote the book for her son in the beginning. And so we were walking and there was people passing us, and they're telling us to be careful because there's a copperhead in the greenway walkway. So we approached. Melissa stopped. I'm like, oh, I gotta go see this snake. So I went, and there's me shooing the poisonous copperhead off the greenway, and then it slithered into the leaves, and my work was done. So I went home.
I love it.
I'll do that all day long. If I see a hawk, I saw a hawk in the tree. I'm sitting there watching the hawk, waiting for it to fly away. And my niece is telling me, come on, come on. So I run alone a lot now.
Right. So is your next book going to be about how to save the world, or how to save
How to
the
save
earth?
earthworms.
Have you thought about writing another book?
You are probably the 12th person that has asked me that. And so I guess I have to just give and say, yes, I have definitely thought about it.
And will the next book be for children, or will it be a completely different genre?
It might be for children. And here's why. As I said, as you know, my family is growing. My niece lives here with her husband. Their son turns 1 at the end of this month, so we're excited about that. My nephew, who also lives close, him and his wife have 2 children. So our family is growing. And the kids love to spend time with me. They love to come to my house and we do fun things. So I'm very kind of focused more on the kids. And my friend Jen, she's got 2 kids. They love the Aunt Cheryl, and so yeah, most definitely it'll be children's book. I don't know how, I don't know what it's going to look like, but yeah, it's definitely on my radar. Even as I sleep, it wakes me up.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably brewing in the unconscious.
Very much so.
Right.
Yes.
And all of a sudden you'll know exactly what it is.
Oh yeah. It's like when it hits, I love to write. And I'll journal and share things with my brother about our old Christmases growing up. And he was like, you should do something about this. This was years ago. And again, I buried it but I love to write. And when some things hit me, it's almost like it's coming from inside and it's just pouring out of my fingers onto the keyboard. And it's very smooth and very just flowing out of me when it hits. You probably know what that feels like.
Yeah. So when you originally made this book by hand, and they said, oh, you got something here, then how long did it take you? How long was that writing process to pull all that together and then get it published? How long did that take you?
Well, probably 8 or 9 months. I remember.
Pretty fast.
Because I had really the guts of it was done for the book I made for my friend's son. But and then I started adding more, and then I got creative with the inside of the book and the illustrations and how the right side where you can journal, there's doodle pictures and things like that. And that was really working with the publisher and her staff. But yeah, I went to her with, I don't know how many messages just on printed paper off the printer, and she loved the idea. I added probably 40 more messages to it, and you critique and you change and you work and you go back and you proof and all of that other stuff. And and then we come up with this. So I think it's nice. And then the picture on the front is one of my messages about spreading kindness in the world, and the picture that the artist gave is kind of a perfect picture to describe.
Is it a boy and a girl holding a picture of the world in between them? Yeah.
To spread love and kindness. Yep.
No, it's just beautiful. I just love what you did with all those messages and put it together to,
Thank you.
I mean, really to help it make a better world for everybody.
Yeah. And I did early on. This book came out, I think it was August, and then early September is when I did my first local TV little interview thing. And the guy I was talking to, he had a copy of the book, and he said, there's a lot of things that are quite honestly, not only for children, there's some good, strong reminders for adults, to kind of slap our own self in the face and say, you know what, if I'm going to teach this to my kid or ask my kid to behave this way, I've got to as well. Right.
Yeah. I just love the idea. I mean, even having the book around, and then, every day after dinner or something, you read a message for everybody to
Yep.
hear. You can take turns reading it. Each person reads a message on a different day and things like that, and just share that and have a little bit of a conversation about it with the children and the adults. So it's a great, conversational piece, so to speak.
Right. And the other way as well, like if I have a child who is struggling with, a subject at school or just not understanding something, there's something in there about that. So I remember growing up and my parents were telling me something. It was almost like it just rolled off my back, and, but when I heard it from somebody else, then it hit home. So there's something in here. It's like, it's okay not to know the answer, right? To your frustration with math problem, or you don't understand something. It's okay not to know the answer. Just relax, talk to your teachers or talk to a classmate or somebody and figure it out. Find a way, because not everybody learns the same, right? Find a way to understand it. And here's one right here. Sometimes it takes baby steps to achieve something. Be patient, but don't lose sight of your goal. So don't get frustrated that, you can't run a marathon yet, right? You're not going to wake up and run a marathon. It takes baby steps, right? And your marathon may be a marathon, but it also may be, learning a subject or learning an instrument or being better at a sport that you want to play. It takes baby steps and patience.
That's a great message.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite message in the book?
I don't know.
So many.
Yeah, like there's so many. So at the very end of the book, it's I sincerely hope you enjoyed my book. And a little paragraph in the book reads, I ask that you be patient with yourself and slow down when things get crazy. Think first, then react, and understand that life is hard, and that's a good thing. Life tests us, it teaches us, and it helps us grow. If you want better, create better. If you want love, be more loving. If you want change, start the process. And when you feel the difference, your whole world will change, I promise you. Follow this simple yet extremely powerful concept. Be kind and loving to everything. That might be my favorite part of the book, to be honest. And the message here picks up and encompasses really everything that's in this book. From being good to the earth, as we say, or, reward yourself, right? It's good to reward yourself if you feel good about something. Reward yourself. Open your mind and explore. Never stop learning. You are somebody's everything is in here. And then there's one of the very last things. It's finally, and there's just one-line messages. Smile so big that your eyes smile. Be good. Be a good friend today. Be understanding. Be the best version of you. Keep reading, right? Show compassion and kindness. Keep your promises. Imagine, believe, and achieve. Look for rainbows after rain. Make a positive difference today and live a healthy, clean life.
I love it.
Thank you.
Just fabulous. Such a great book. Wish I had it when my kids were growing up.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So where can people find your book?
I have it on sale at Amazon, barnesandnoble.com, as well as warrenpublishing.net, the publisher. And there are some local bookstores here in my area that carry it as well. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, they can.
And what is your email?
Strawberryfeeled@gmail.com.
And field is spelled
F-E-E-L-E-D.
So Feeled. So strawberryfeeled@gmail.com. And yes. I will put her email in the podcast notes as well. So you can just go to the podcast notes and see her email there. So again, I want to thank you, Cheryl, so much for being my guest today and sharing your amazing book with all the listeners.
Thank you so much. This was by far the most fun I've had opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you again.
All right.
I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Dr. Lottie Science with Soul. To stay up to date on future episodes and to help us reach a larger audience, remember to subscribe, review, and share this podcast, as well as subscribing to my newsletter at divinespiritualessence.com. If you are a person who understands the interconnectedness of mind, body, and soul, and would like to take one of my courses or work with me to create a path of healing your own life, please visit divinespiritualessence.com or drlottie.com. My book, Med School After Menopause, The Journey of My Soul, an inspirational story about transformation, healing, and spirituality, which won first place in the category of spiritual leadership in August 2021 from Living Now Book Awards, is available online at Amazon as well as other online platforms worldwide. If you are a person who understands the interconnectedness of mind, body, and soul, and would like to take one of my courses or work with me to create a path of healing your own life, please visit divinespiritualessence.com or drlottie.com.